Just out here this morning digging some potatoes with some help. This is my no-work potato bed. I started back in May, maybe, and it's working out great. If you didn't see that original video, I will link to it in the comments. But the general idea here was this was all just grass. Just a few months ago, this is grass. I don't even think I bothered to come through and like mow the grass short or anything. I just took seed potatoes, threw them right on top of the grass, didn't bother to dig in, didn't bother to plant, just tossed them out right into the grass, and then covered them with a good couple inches, if not a foot or so, of straw mulch. I didn't water. I didn't really pay any attention to them. I didn't really weed or really have to weed. I kind of weed racked around the edges of the bed when I remembered and got to it, which was rarely. The only thing I bothered to do was I came back in a few weeks after getting it started, and I pulled aside some straw and I planted some compost in. The compost has started to break down and the straw started to break down, so a lot of it really is compost. But I did add a little bit of compost, maybe a 5-gallon bucket worth for these two 10-foot by 10-foot beds. And so digging the potatoes out has been really easy. I come through, and I literally just pull back the straw. If there's not a foot on it, I just pull back the straw, and here they are, just laying there on top of the soil, or sometimes embedded within the straw. And I also, once or twice throughout the season, added some more straw around the base of the plants to give them more space to put potatoes in. So in total, God, I spent less than an hour on this throughout the whole season. So there, like I said, there's about 2 of these beds. I walked it out. It's probably about 8 foot by 8 foot or so. So 2 of these 8 foot by 8 foot beds. I'm about halfway, a little bit more than halfway done one of them, and here are the results. This is Sebastian's bucket, and here's mine. And look at the beautiful diversity of these potatoes. Just lots of multicolored. These were all started from seed by a friend of mine. He let a whole bunch of plants grow out and let them die. The handful of plants that survived, he knew then to be Pennsylvania adapted potatoes. So we planted those out and let them grow out for another year and get a bit bigger. So these are Pennsylvania adapted, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania adapted potatoes that survived a pretty dry season with no watering at all, just some heavy mulch. Mr. Potato, I would say that this was about the amount that I started with back in the spring. And so I have this plus this. You are very silly. And then I still have like half of this bed and that whole bed to go. So I would say these potatoes quadrupled, maybe 5 or 6 dupled in just one season, again with only 1 hour of work total. Not the world's biggest yield of potatoes. I feel like it might be one of 2 factors. One, it just might be the selected potatoes aren't as productive as like the russet, which have been selected over time to be productive. Also, perhaps my no-work method just produced less potatoes. If I had fertilized more, if I had watered a little bit more during the droughts, maybe they would have produced more potatoes. All that being said, I just didn't have time, and frankly, this was amazing for no time. One really cool method I can see this being used for is grass erosion. So I could see someone having a front lawn like mine, coming through in the spring, planting a bunch of potatoes, just dropping them on the grass and covering everything with hay. And then you can come back and you pull back the hay and you have this very rich, nice soil, and you have a potato yield. And then also you can start planting trees or making a veggie garden or whatever else you want to do. You can get rid of the grass in one season and get a bunch of potatoes out of it.